Hello, everyone. This is Melinda Russell with the Women's Motorsports Network podcast. And it's my pleasure today to have three young ladies that race for Ashcraft Motorsports. I have Riley, Emma, and Mem. And we're going to get started first by just finding out a little bit about each one of them. And then we're going to find out how they got interested in motorsports. And then the final phase of the interview is going to be, why are you at the Tulsa Shootout? Because that's where they're coming to us from. They're at the Tulsa Shootout. It's January 2nd. There's no better place to be if you're out of school and you got nothing else to do. And why not be at a racetrack, right? So, Riley, we're going to start with you. Why don't you tell me just a little bit about yourself? And when she's done, Emma, you can go right ahead after her.
So I'm 16 years old. I'm a sophomore in high school. I have three siblings. I've been racing for 10 years, and my whole family has gotten into racing eventually at one point in their life.
Okay. Emma?
I'm 14 years old. I'm in eighth grade. I have two siblings, and I've been racing for 5 years.
Okay. And Mem?
I'm 14 years old. I'm a freshman in high school. I have quite a bit of animals. I have one sister, and I've been racing for at least 9 years.
Wow. You guys got a lot of years between the three of you, and the oldest one of you is 16, so that's pretty impressive for sure. So Riley, how did you get started racing? Who influenced you to get started, and what was the first thing you drove? And then give us your story kind of up until today.
So in 2015, my dad found this ad to do like 10 laps for $10 in a quarter midget. So we went to RCQMA, which is my local Austin track in Texas, and I did the practice at just like 4.5. And after that, we kind of decided that that's what we wanted to do. So I did that up until last year. And my dad did a little bit of road racing growing up, so I guess when he saw it, he thought it was a good opportunity for me.
Okay. So you did quarter midgets up until last year, and then what are you driving this year?
A 600 micro and an Allison Legacy.
Okay. All right. Emma, give us your story.
In 2019, my brother started racing, so I thought it was really cool and I wanted to start. So I started practicing in his car and I really liked it. So I started 2020 in quarter midget. So I stayed until last year. Now I'm racing a 600 micro.
Okay. All right. Ma'am, it's up to you now to finish this off here.
Oh, well, so my dad's always been a big racing person, and one day we went to the track, and someone just so happened to bring a quarter midget to that dirt race that we were at, and my dad thought it was really cool, so then he put me in one, and just ever since until last year, I've been doing quarter midgets, and this year now I'm in a 600cc micro sprint.
Okay. So all three of you have pretty much done the same thing. So um, do you live close together? You said you lived in Texas, Riley. So do all of you live like close together? That's kind of how you got to be friends and how you ended up on the same team, or how does that work? Ma'am, why don't you tell us?
Um, well, I live in Colorado, so
Uh,
we all just kind of became friends through going to nationals and quarter midgets, and we just kind of got closer from there.
Okay. And Emma, where do you live?
I live in Texas.
Okay. And do you live close to Riley?
We live a few hours away, but we get to see each other every once in a while.
Okay. All right. So basically, your friendships have developed because of racing. And, I hear that so often, girls, that, you spend every weekend or lots of weekends, not every weekend, but a lot of weekends with the kids that you race against. And they turn out to become your best friends. I don't know about the three of you, but a lot of times, the girls that race, because of, you may race close to home in Colorado or Texas, then you're not going to the movies or play softball or do a lot of the things that maybe your friends do. So, is that hard to be, more so involved in racing and you can't do as much with your friends? Or are you able to kind of have a nice blend of that? Riley, we'll start with you.
I'd say I have a pretty good blend of both. It just depends really on the weekends if my friends want to hang out, like my school friends. Sometimes I have to tell them no because I have a race. And usually they're understanding, but I do try to balance it so that way they don't feel like I don't really want to hang out with them, which is not true. But even when me and Emma hang out, we do stuff like that. Like we've been to the movies together before. We've even went to the movies in our suits before.
Okay, so that's good. So you're able to kind of have a nice blend of that. Emma, how about you?
Well, I used to do sports and racing, but I've had to cut back on that because we travel so much. So
Hmm.
I just I show livestock and I do racing, but that's kind of hard to do when you're traveling.
Yeah,
So I kind of had to cut back on that. In school, I had to go to online school because they wouldn't excuse my absences.
yeah, yeah. And do you like online school? Is it working out good?
It's pretty good. I get to do a lot more stuff because it saves more time.
Yeah, yeah. I found that when my grandchildren had to do online school because of COVID, there's a lot of wasted time in school, really. I can say that because I'm a grandma, but really, there is a lot of kind of wasted time. You could accomplish a lot more if you went to school part of the time and then you were able to do other things the other part of the time. So, Mem, how about you? What do you do with your friends?
Well, I will hang out with my racing friends, but my school friends, it's not that I don't want to hang out with them. Just we just all don't ever have time, especially over the summer because I race literally almost every weekend.
Yeah,
So it's been kind of busy. I'd love to try to make time for them sometimes, but it's always hectic and with racing.
yeah, yeah. I hear that a lot, but I think that as long as they understand that this is kind of a priority and that this is maybe kind of a life goal that you have and to continue racing, I think it's good that hopefully they do understand that you can't be everywhere at the same time. So yeah, pretty good. So you're at the Tulsa Shootout. Whose idea was it to go there? And first of all, have you ever been there before?
No, not
No,
racing. Not racing. We've never
not
raced.
racing. You've been there to see it, but not to race. Whose idea was it for you to go? And then, um, after that, tell me what are your thoughts? How do you feel about being there, and how have you done? So, ma'am, we're going to start with you so that Riley doesn't have to always go first.
Well, so when I got into my 600, I had a chance to either go to a race called the Rumble in Fort Wayne,
Mm-hmm.
uh, or I got offered the shootout. And I said I wanted to do the shootout because I've always wanted to experience what it's like to race the shootout. And then just soon enough, I got to shootout. We got me some seat time. So, I don't come here and do as bad per se,
Yeah.
we should say. So,
Right. Yeah, you wanted to have a little practice time before you got there, so it wasn't 100% new, right?
yeah.
Yeah. And Emma, what about you? How did you decide to go to the shootout?
Well, it's kind of how do you say it? Like a last minute decision.
Okay.
I just got my car finished and I raced one race and then I was like, I need to race again. And the next race coming up was the shootout. I was
Uh-huh.
like, I need to go to the shootout. So
Okay.
that's how I got here.
Okay. And what about you, Riley?
Um, we planned about a month or two ago that we were gonna come up here to run the shootout, and we had to fix a couple things in my car because I recently blew a motor, but I
Yikes.
got to practice twice before coming up here, so that helped a little bit.
Yeah. So have you girls always been part of Ashcraft Motorsports, or is this kind of a new thing for the weekend? Any of you?
Uh, I've been in Ashcraft Motorsports for 3 years now. I started Ashcraft Motorsports when I was in quarter midget,
Okay.
and now we've added more people onto the team. I was the only person on the team before this year. So
Okay.
this is a yearly thing.
Okay. All right. And so, Riley and Mem, you started with the team this year then?
No, I've been with the team for years.
Yeah, because your last name is Ashcraft.
Um,
You've been an Ashcraft since you were born. So let's just get that right out of the way. And then, Riley, when did you join the team?
about summer 2023, really.
Okay.
So almost 2 years.
Yeah. So you guys been together for a while. And you have other people on your team, you said. Are they
Yeah,
guys or girls?
only girls. It's an all girls team. Her name is Peyton.
Oh, I love that. I love that it's an all girls team. But the three of you, are you the only three that came to the Tulsa Shootout?
We're the only three that run micros here.
Peyton is here. She is
Yeah.
here.
Okay. All right. So, Riley, what do you love? How many days you been there in Tulsa? A couple days. Oh, there's somebody standing behind you. Another
That's
gal.
our teammate. That's Peyton.
And who is that?
Peyton. She's
Okay.
a former midget driver.
Oh yeah, Peyton. Yeah, I have that in my note. So Peyton is in quarter midgets. And Peyton, how old are you?
I'm 15.
Okay. And is this going to be your last year in quarter midgets?
Yes, I'm
Yeah,
gonna do quarter midgets and 600.
Okay. All right. So 4 girls. Man, I feel sorry for your coach. 4 girls. I'll tell you what. But I know one thing about girls. They're loyal, they're more dedicated, and they have a lot of attention to detail. So actually, they're probably easier to coach, except when something goes wrong and then they cry and then he doesn't know what to do, right? Yeah, I get that, but that's okay. That's part of it. So, first time you've raced at Tulsa, let's start with Riley. Peyton, you stay there. I'm going to let you be in on this too. So, Riley, what are you enjoying about being in Tulsa? You've been there, what, 2 or 3 days probably?
I think it's cool that since it's like a week long, there's a lot of opportunity to watch many other drivers race. I mean, you even have drivers like Kyle Larson here, like big names.
Yeah.
I'd say it's not a lot of track time for us really, but it's more of getting to watch other people and learning by visuals rather than actually getting on the track. But you do learn by getting on the track too.
Yeah. You get to do both.
Yeah.
Yeah. Emma, what are you enjoying about being there?
I feel like it's a very good learning experience being here. I mostly want to come here so I would be more experienced for the shootout next year.
Okay.
So I could get all the experience I can before coming back to this big race.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to experience the race, even if it's just a little bit of track time, but at least the atmosphere and all the people and how it runs and everything, that's always helpful. So then next year when you come, you have less of a learning curve and you already know about all those things. So, ma'am, what's your favorite thing about being there?
I don't know. I like that it's just a new track and that I like how it's during per se off season too, because then I most of the time get a race year round. I also like how the people are really helpful here and they're always willing to help if you need a hand.
Yeah, that's nice. That's pretty true of most tracks probably that, we all go to, but some are friendlier than others, and I love that part about motorsports that we're all willing to help each other. So Peyton, hiding back there in the back, have you raced yet, Peyton?
So I haven't gotten my 600 yet, but I've been racing quarter midgets for 3 years now.
Okay.
And I think being here at the Tulsa Shootout the year before I race it, so I'll be racing it next year. I think it's very good to be here learning and seeing them learn their first ever year and just getting that experience from off the track and watching what they're doing and how they're learning. I think it'd be very good since I'm going to be racing it next year.
Yeah, and the fact that these 3 girls are, on your team, they're going to give you an idea of what to do, what not to do, and so that's going to be helpful for you too. That that they're already racing that kind of a car, so that's pretty cool. So, do you girls get any? I don't. I almost said the wrong thing. Do you girls get any feedback from the boys, like if you beat them or you race against them? Do they ever say anything, or how does that work? Go ahead, anybody.
They definitely give us a hard time, but it's okay because we could give it back once we beat them.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah. Go ahead.
it's definitely something new. They will help though if you ask them
Yeah.
sometimes.
And have you made some friends that are guys? Riley, have you guys made friends with them? Yeah. Yeah. That's the best thing to do is kind of kill them with kindness and make friends with them and then go out on the track and show them who's boss, right? Yeah, absolutely, for sure. So you're going to be racing this summer. So when do you race in a series where the three of you and maybe Peyton too, where you are all together, on certain weekends, and then you race other places the rest of the time? Riley, how does your season go?
Well, we try to meet each other at races as a team as much as we can. It is hard though sometimes, especially with our parents having jobs, so we can't always make it to the same races. But I feel like in the summer is where we'll definitely be with each other the most at tracks, especially for like Kansas Speed Week.
Yeah,
But me and Emma living in Texas together will probably most likely see each other more at tracks versus the three of us.
yeah.
And once Peyton starts racing to 600, then I'm sure Mem and Peyton will see each other more than they see us.
Okay. Peyton, where do you live?
I live in Colorado as well, just like
Okay.
15 minutes away from them.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. So that kind of helps that there's two and two where, you can kind of hang out and race at least with a teammate at some point. So Emma, is that the same for you? You're, same as Riley?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, ma'am, how about you and Peyton? What's your schedules look like?
Well, so with Peyton racing quarter midget, it's kind of hard. And with her doing both and me being a full-time 600 driver, it's probably going to be hard. But, my dad did say that he'll take Peyton if he has to certain races if Peyton doesn't have a quarter midget race. And if her dad, Kyle, wants to hop on, half of the time it's just me and my dad going to races because my mom's job just gets so hectic. And, well, my sister, she it she bounces around whether she likes the track or not. So
Yeah.
most of the time it's just been me and my dad. And my dad did say that he'll help Kyle and Peyton whenever they need the help.
Yeah.
So
So
we
that's
can
good. Yeah. What part of Colorado do you live in?
Colorado Springs.
Okay. My sister lives north of Boulder in a town called Bethard or something like that. I don't know how you pronounce it, but anyway. So I got to get out there. She moved in April, and I haven't been out there to see her new house and stuff yet. So love Colorado. I like being out there to visit. So long term, you guys are still in high school, but what is your long term wish, dream, goal for your racing career, Riley?
Definitely I'd like to make it somewhere big, whether that be NASCAR or sprint cars. It would just be awesome to get really anywhere. Um, but I think that goes the same for all of us. I'm not going to speak for them, but
Yeah,
just anywhere big.
yeah. And so you're racing dirt, right?
Well, I do dirt and asphalt. I do
Okay.
dirt and asphalt as well.
Okay. So what do you like the best, dirt or asphalt?
Mm-hmm. They're kind of equal.
Kind of equal. Yeah. So you could go either way. I went to Eldora several years ago, and I was so excited to go there and watch it was World of Outlaws and watch them and so I went into the pit area thinking I'm going to meet some really cool women. First of all, there were hardly any women in the pit area, and the ones that were there were the wives and the girlfriends. They had really half of them had no interest in being there. I'm sure they'd been racing all summer and they were over it. And I was really disappointed that there aren't more girls in the higher levels of, sprint cars and that. And so you girls need to step it up and lead the way and get some women up there in those series for sure. So Emma, what's your long-term goal?
I definitely want to go as high as I can because you could just always go up. I've just want to shoot as far as I can.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Lots of hard work and seat time, and that'll get you there for sure. And Mem, what about you?
I'm kind of with Emma. Like, I'll just kind of go and just hope I just get higher up as I go. I think my main goal though is to get probably into like the high limit series or the World of Outlaws because
Yeah,
I've always been a big dirt person living 5 minutes from a dirt track.
yeah, yeah. And you know what's funny? So I live in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and I could go to probably 6 or 8 tracks within an hour of my house, and there's only one dirt track. The rest are all asphalt. So I really was never like a dirt fan because I really had never been around it that much. And then I went to a few dirt races, and wow, it can really get in your blood, can't it? The dirt can really be a lot of fun. Yeah, for sure. So, Peyton, I know you're younger, but I'm still going to ask you, what's your long term goal?
I think just like how Riley said, she just wants to make it somewhere big, whether that be NASCAR or World of Outlaws or High Limits. I think I just want to make it somewhere like how Kyle Larson's in NASCAR and all of that. He is racing a ton of cars. I think that would be awesome to be able to do what he's doing right now.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So, are there a lot of girls at the Tulsa Shootout?
There's a there's a quite a bit actually.
Yeah. So, do you girls know who Briley Kilmer is?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. Well, you tell her Melinda said hello because I've interviewed her before, and I know that family. So make sure you tell her that I said hello for sure. Um, any other things about being at the shootout that you want to share that I haven't asked you about?
Other than it being just a really cool experience to finally be at some kid's dream race and be able to race in it, I
Mm-hmm.
think it's a really great experience that everyone should try at least once in their life.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to put yourself out there, and it's not about winning. It's not always about winning. It's about growing and experiencing new things. And, every chance you get, if somebody offers you an opportunity, just tell yourself, hey, I'm going to give it a shot. Right. And you go and you try, and next year you'll be even better when you come back. So that's pretty fun for sure. My mother was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma, so there's a little bit of a sentimental, thing about that town. And I've been there a few times, but maybe I'll have to put this on my bucket list and come and watch all you girls race. That would be so fun for me to do that. Yeah, for sure. So, anything else that you girls want to share about yourselves, your racing, anybody you want to thank, anything at all before we hang up?
I want to thank Ashcraft.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we should thank Ashcraft Motorsports most friends.
Okay, and tell me what his name is.
Mark
Ashcraft.
Okay, and he kind of put your team together, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like I said, he's got his hands full with the four of you. I know that for sure, but in a good way, in a very good way, for sure. Well, I don't have any other questions for you. I'm so glad we could do this while you were out there because this is kind of fun. And I hope you have good luck. You still have races to do, right?
Yeah.
And are you racing yet today, tomorrow? When do you race again?
Tomorrow. We race tomorrow.
Okay. All right. And then when do you head home?
I think like Saturday night or Sunday morning.
Okay. All right. So it's going fast. It's already Thursday. I don't know where this week has gone, but I hope you have a really fun time. Just remember that when you're racing, it's not always about the winning, although, yeah, I want you to win, but it's about having fun and enjoying yourselves and making memories with your friends. And so you girls have a great rest of the week, and don't be too hard on your coach. And we'll stay in touch. If you would tag me when you post, I'm assuming we didn't talk about this, but I'm assuming you're all on social media based on your age, probably Instagram. Is that right? Or
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I figured. So if you tag Women's Motorsports Network, when you post, then it's easier for me to follow you about what you're doing and I can keep track of you better. So just hashtag Women's Motorsports Network, and then I'll try to keep track of where you are and what you're doing. And if you get anywhere close to me, maybe I'll surprise you and come and watch your race. Okay.
Thank you so much for having us.
Oh,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome. And thank Mark for setting it up. I really appreciate that he did
Thank you,
that.
Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
All right. Well, girls, you have a good evening. Go get some good
You
dinner
too.
somewhere. And I'm going to watch Notre Dame and Georgia. You know, the football game got canceled yesterday. And one of my best friends is at the game, and she's a big Notre Dame fan. And I can't really say I'm a Notre Dame fan, but today I am. Usually I'm not, but today I am. So I'm going to watch the rest of the game, and you girls have a good evening, and I'll try to watch and see how you do tomorrow.
Thank you
Thank
so much.
you.
All right. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.